Alright, gang. It's February 16, 2025. Just working on the Alfa Romeo, and I put in a new ignition switch in. It's identical to the other one. I'm going to show you. So we'll just go over why the thing failed. Here's the old switch. What I like about this, which you can barely see, is it'll say on there ignition, battery. I don't know what that is, maybe accessory. So I'm just going to be using the three of them, the top, the ignition, and the battery. And that third one's probably for accessories. What's neat about this switch is that it's a universal and it's low cost. And you see how that big plastic on here, it isolates each terminal, so you can't touch the other ones. I think that's a really neat design. Let's see if I can show you this one-handed. May not work. Can you see that play right there? That play has something to do with this failing. And see that play? It looks like it's really nothing, but it is something. I probably put 20,000, 30,000 miles on this switch, maybe a lot more. But so you turn it on, fire it up, come back, and you'd think it'd be the off position, but it's actually over here still on accessory. So I think that what happened was that the switch failed, and it would stay on, running power to the coil, heating the coil up, failing the coil. So anyway, resolved that issue with this. So I went ahead and bought a new switch from the AutoZone. So these little fuses that you have to use, you got these little blue 25 amps. Notice how it says that right on the fuse, in case you didn't know. And I got these on the eBay because nobody else has them. And these are the glass 25 amps. They're really cheap. I think I paid like 20, 30 bucks for both these. And I like to just have little boxes for stuff. And then here's just some of the other accessory fuses for other small things that don't require a lot of amperage. And I just got this little box and just put all the stuff in. Put the fuses in. And then what's surprising is that, obviously that first Bosch voltage regulator failed, coil failed. And so I put this other coil I had in, and it was good for one run, and it did not run again. So I went out and bought an NGK. It was like 20 bucks. And let's see, we'll go take a look at that. And that solved it. These cars are fun to get in and out of. You got to do abs if you do these cars. And there is the fuse box. So you can see left to right, there's your 25s. All the way down to the all the accessories and the other bullshit. What this needs is a real cleaning. Those should be shiny brass, not kind of rust covered brass, but it does run, but it does need a really thorough cleaning. Personally, I like to take photos of everything I'm doing so that you can come back and look at it and say, oh yeah, that's where that fuse went. Because I don't think I have a manual that explains it, but I don't know, I'd have to go look. But anyway, there's the fuse box. They're all in one place. And then there's this kind of, where'd that weird thing go? Then there's this oddball fuse. I don't know what the hell that is. I think that's the lights for the dash. And, hood release, these things fail. They're a pain in the ass. They just wear out. It's amazing how many decades of use this thing had and it finally failed. But anyway, there's the switch. And then, dead or neutral or off is 12 o'clock. So you want to set that up right. And, you know, obviously this ain't the right ignition switch for this classic car, but it works and it's cheap. Yeah, this car will cut you up. All right, let's go take a look. There is the NGK coil. This coil holder is just, it's too loose, and you know, securing it with those two screws that you can see on both sides that secure that kind of U-bracket on, you could keep tensioning that and it won't do any good. So I'll have to put some sort of large spacer in there to hold it in place. But it fires right up. For whatever reason, this car just does not like cold weather. New fuel lines all the way throughout. You know, eventually it'd be cool to put a dual carb setup on this. I think the originals were a dual carb Solex, but those are really problematic carbs. Better to go with the Webers. And I want to say the originals were probably done with Italian Webers, not the made in Spain Webers, which I haven't had any problem with. They seem to work fine. But anyway, so that is the latest. What caused the coil to fail was not that, so much that it was worn out, but was the ignition switch had failed, and it was staying on when you thought it was off. And because I keep a charger on it, I didn't know, because that charger was showing it always fully charged, right? So at least that was working. Wonderful car. If you find one of these, gang, just buy it. Don't cry about money and bullshit. Just buy the car. Find it, buy it. I think like about 5 years ago, I saw a Giulietta 1300 basket case back east somewhere. It was rough. But you know, if I had the cash and, you know, it was down the street or something, I would have definitely bought it. But I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in buying stuff long distance anymore. There's just too many scammers and crooks. But anyway, NGK coil works great. I run the NGK plugs. You can probably run the Bosch plugs too. Yeah, so at least it's back in operation. Just got to do the clutch adjustment. The fun never ends in my world. Yeah, that's another big hit. Small headache solved. That's not a big deal. New switch, new NGK coil, new fuses from Scam Bay. And I got my huge Optima battery on my C-Tech charger 7002. I highly recommend these chargers. And there's my two coils that for now are considered to be dead. That's too bad. This was the original. I think that's a larger diameter, but you can see that's oil and maybe the coil bleeding out. But for some reason, this guy, I had it in my pile of parts, and it did not work. So I don't know. It fired up one time, never fired up again. So that's it for today. This poor car needs another Pertronix ignition. It's failed. So next headache. But what's really cool is I managed to find a front bumper with the overrider. So now I just need a rear bumper. I have parts of a rear bumper, but I need the middle section. Guy was nice enough to send me all this stuff. So there's two of these halves, right? But I need the middle section that goes between these two halves, and that'd give me a bumper without having to spend like thousands. And just weld it up in the center, clean it up. Anyways, be a nicer day. I'll work on that. So there it is, gang. We'll catch you on the next YouTube. So it could be a faulty switch that'll shut your whole car down.